Hello everyone, this video is talking about the order of operations, which is the order in which to do things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division in a big problem. So often this is taught with what's called PEMDAS, or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, which is an acronym trying to help you remember what order to do things. P is for parentheses, E for exponents or powers, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. There's a couple problems with the way this is taught. First of all, parentheses are other things like brackets or square roots or even absolute values, right? All those things fall under parentheses stage, which means you do the work inside those first. Exponents, it's pretty straightforward. Anything with the power on it, you do that first, or you do that after parentheses, that is. Now, MD, multiplication and division actually happen at the same time. It's not true that multiplication comes before division. If you have multiple, like some multiplications and divisions in your problem, you go left to right, just like how we read. And it's actually the same thing with addition and subtraction. So all your multiplication and division will come before your addition and subtraction, but it's not necessarily true that addition comes before subtraction, right? So really there's only four stages. Your parentheses, your exponents, all of your multiplication and division, and then all of your addition and subtraction. In this example, we're going to go through that order of operations and try to figure out what this expression simplifies to. And we're going to start with our parentheses, right? 3 plus 2, that's inside the innermost parentheses. Now, I'm going to do one step at a time. I know it seems tedious, but it's good so that you don't do too many things at once. This will become 5 squared. You can leave these parentheses or not, it doesn't actually matter. Divided by 5. Right, 3 plus 2, that was our first step. Now we're still working inside these brackets, and inside there you would actually do the exponents next. So we get 3 plus 5 squared is 25. And then our last step inside those parentheses is to obviously divide. 25 divided by 5 is 5. And you don't need those brackets now because they're not really doing anything, so we're just going to leave it as 5. Lastly, 3 plus 5 is 8. So this whole problem that we started with, this simplifies to 8 if you follow the correct order of operations, right? We did inside our parentheses first, then we were inside these brackets, and you have to do exponents before division. Then we're still inside the brackets, we do our division, and then lastly we just add. So there's our answer there. Same idea here, except if you have a fraction like this, you can kind of treat the top and bottom like two separate pieces. So I'll basically do a step in the top, do a step in the bottom, and kind of keep going from there. So on the top, your first step would be to start working inside those parentheses. So 3 squared, we could figure that out right now, but we'll go ahead and leave it. And on the inside, we have 3 times the square root of 16. Square root of 16 is actually our very first step. That becomes 4. That falls under grouping symbols, remember. Do the work, that falls under P. Do the work inside the square root or inside the parentheses, etc. So that would be our first step on the top. On the bottom, we just have multiplication and division. Those happen at the same stage, but we're just going to do it left to right. So we'll do that multiplication. Negative 2 times 10 would be a negative 20, and then we're going to divide that by 4. Okay, so that's our first step. Now on the top, we still have 3 squared. Again, I could figure this out, but just to really stick to the order of operations, technically we do the 3 minus 4, which is 12 here. Okay, so because that takes care of our parentheses, which come before exponents. On the bottom, we're pretty much done now. We're just going to get negative 5, which is negative 20 divided by 4. Now we can do our exponents, which is 9. We don't need these parentheses, so I'm just going to simplify it to 12. And our last step, I believe, well, just about, I guess. Our last step here, 9 minus 12 is a negative 3 over negative 5. Technically, one more step because this simplifies to 3 over 5 because the negatives cancel out. Okay, so that big problem, if you follow the correct order of operations, simplifies to 3 over 5. That's it for order of operations. Let me know if you have any questions and keep up the good work.